Welcome in, everybody. You are now joining Tiffany Stiles on the podcast. Tiffany is also an avid coffee drinker because she is a coffee shop owner. She's the owner of Tiabi Coffee and Waffle, and she's also the owner of Jolt Coffee Co. And in her free time, she's also a freelance photographer. So, Tiffany, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's super cool.
You're my first coffee shop owner.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm excited to get some insight because for the longest time I wasn't a coffee person, but it wasn't until I started taking classes at UNLV where just hanging around in the student union and had my first sip of coffee, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! Like, why did I never drink this in high school?" But at UNLV, it's definitely a requirement.
Well, we share something in common. I actually didn't drink coffee until I was about 20, almost 21, because I'm like, geez, I drank alcohol way before I drank coffee. But my mom just didn't really allow it for some reason, and I was a big tea drinker, so I totally feel you. I would never forget my first like real sip of coffee where I'm like, oh, this is black coffee. It's weird, but I like it, you know.
It's an acquired taste for
Yes.
certain. It's the same with alcohol, I guess. Both have some effects though. But with coffee, it just gives you more focus, and I feel like it just increases awareness to whatever you're doing, which therefore influences your conversation or your work or your research or anything like that.
Right. Yeah. I definitely feel you on that. Some people aren't the same unless they get their cup of coffee.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm almost afraid at this point to not have a cup of coffee in the morning just because of the caffeine withdrawals that sometimes come with it. They're almost worse than hangovers.
Right? Oh yeah, and then you get like angry, you know?
Have you taken a break from drinking coffee at all since you've opened up a coffee shop?
Yeah, I actually just went through one this past winter season. I fast in a lot of different ways, but last, I think October through December, I actually did no coffee or no caffeine, period.
Wow.
Yeah, I only did like herbal teas, water, tons of like electrolyte kind of stuff. That's all. Yeah.
You didn't feel tempted to drink coffee at all being in the shop all day?
Absolutely. I was like smelling the beans just to kind of like, can I get caffeinated just by smelling it? You know, can I just like take it in? And they're like, you look crazy. And I'm like, give me the decaf. You know, when you crave like the flavor, I'm like, give me the decaf coffee. But it doesn't have the same feeling. So
there's like a romanticism around coffee. It's just like it becomes so integrated into your routine. It's like you almost don't know how to act within it. That's almost part of the reason why I drink it, just because it's like you get up and you brew the coffee and you can smell it and you're just like, oh, this is going to be a great start to the day. And then you drink it, and within like 10 minutes you're like, okay, I feel like I'm normal again. Could be a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with romanticism, I've actually talked to so many people, and they've told me about their first experience with coffee. For a lot of people, it's what brings out conversation, you know, especially with family, friends, you know, they're just like, we need the coffee, because when you have it, it's like you become human again. I don't know what it is. So
yeah, it is a sort of, it's like a social tool.
Yes.
You know, when we were in high school, in college, I lived in a fraternity house and we had a hookah, and I wasn't a big hookah guy, but I understood the utility of it being a social tool in a way, just for humans just to do something while you're conversating, because sometimes it's hard to just stay focused with all of the different temptations and stimuli that's around us nowadays. It's hard to just tune into the conversation.
Yeah.
So those social tools are necessary.
Oh, totally. And it's just a way for people to open up, and especially the cafe environment. You know, you're creating an environment where people can have those conversations. So, yeah.
So what inspired you to open up Tiabi?
Well, actually, me and my friend opened it up together. We met at UNLV. We went to school. We graduated, and then we graduated during the 2008 recession. So it was brutal. Yeah, it was real brutal. And I was a journalism major, so I would call up my old mentors, and they're like, "We have nothing for you. We're doing your job and like 5 other people's jobs." I'm like, "Oh, geez." So it was kind of one of those things where at the time I was actually working at Starbucks, and then my other friend, she was a beverage manager at the Stratosphere, and then we'd meet and we'd do like yoga every day. And after yoga, we're just sitting there and we're like, what are we gonna do? This isn't even our major. Like, what are we doing? So then we're like, we did like to travel, and we always felt like Vegas needed a stronger coffee culture presence. Like today, it's incredible, but back then there was like a handful of coffee shops. So we just decided, you know what? Let's just open a coffee shop. Let's just do it. It was really on a whim. We really didn't know what we were doing, and I didn't know it was going to like even grow this far. But it was just one of those things where we just wanted to challenge ourselves and prove to ourselves that we could do something just kind of on our own, and that's kind of what it was. Yeah, it was just that need for that coffee culture, and then to kind of go and do something crazy, because we were just stuck in recession for like, how long did that last? I don't even know.
It was about 2 really bad years, right. And then it took a few years to recover.
Yeah.
From that.
So we're just kind of like off the the end of that in 2013, and we're like, we just need to do something. So yeah. That's what it was.
What does what's the meaning behind Tiabi?
Tiabi actually stands for To Inspire and Be Inspired. It's an acronym. So it was kind of something we created while we were in school, because me and my old business partner, May, we were just at Chipotle in between classes.
Yeah, right across the street.
Yeah, that was our go-to. On Tuesdays, we went to Chipotle and we hashed it out, because we ended up having the same capstone course. So, we'd hashed it out, and she actually talked to me about, at the time, she worked at the Luxor, and she said that she made really good friends with this janitor, and she was just like, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to different departments? Do you want to grow within the company? And it's something very easy, because like, especially when you're in college, you have that mindset. It's like you want to plan out things, right? And she's like, why do you just want to, stay in like the janitorial department? And it was an older guy, and he was like, well, he's like, this is my happiness. He was just like, I actually really like doing this. It's a good routine for me. It's great for my family. I make, everything I need is here. And I actually get inspired by like my job, even though it is like in, those services. And then, he just had such passion for his job. And then, we were just like, it's just more important to be inspired. And then, so we just came up with like, to inspire and be inspired. And it's been like our mantra for years. And we're always just like, yeah, man, like it doesn't really matter what you're doing. It just matters, the passion and the feeling you have behind it is what matters. Because then when you have those elements of fulfillment in your life, you'll just go on to doing other things and living just a very fulfilled life, So we just always thought like, what would be a catalyst for that? And then we're just like, like the coffee shop would be so cool. And then we actually didn't know what to name it. We had like 10 other names, and we're like, Tiabi was on the back burner for a long time. It was like our backup of backup names. And then it just came time to where we had to establish it already. And we're like, okay, Tiabi, let's just do it. It's just so us. So that's kind of, how that came about.
That's perfect. If you think about it, coffee shops are a general catalyst for multi-million-dollar businesses. How often do business owners, businessmen, entrepreneurs meet at coffee shops to have business meetings? One of my previous business meetings, we used to always meet up at Public Us in downtown, and literally 90% of our meetings were there. So the environment of a coffee shop is a giant catalyst for inspiration. So it's a perfect culmination for a name. Yeah,
it truly is. It really is, because, especially owning it now, you just see so many things like the business meetings that you're talking about, and just people making those connections, and it's definitely inspiring.
It is. So in order to set yourself apart, is that why you added a waffle concept to it? Or are you just a giant connoisseur of waffles?
So actually, back then we were like, okay, well, we need something that's like going to add to this mix. And so we thought waffles were very international, and they were internationally recognizable. So it was kind of like that dual entity we thought would be a good symbol to bring people in.
Yeah, I wrote down a few of the different options. You had waffle witches. You had like blendies, espresso bar, signature coffees. But the waffle witches were cool because it wasn't just like your general concept of a waffle. There were different sandwiches and different types of blends.
Yeah.
Are those all your creations?
Yeah, absolutely. They're just creations over time, things that we thought were good and then they stuck. A couple of them were like customer creations. Like we have a guru burger. We actually named it after, back then. So me and May, I'm still geeky, but me and May are really geeky. So like, we're like, okay, so anyone who inspires us is going to be our guru. So we had appointed gurus in our world. And one of our gurus was this chef. And we're like, we want to do something, just like vegan, and he was just playing around with his own stuff. So he created the Guru Burger, and that's why we call it the Guru Burger because he was our guru. I still call it. His name's Christian, Chef Christian. I still call him Guru Christian to his name, and everyone at the store calls him Guru. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, we have cool creations like that and stuff that we just feel like the community will enjoy.
Community is really important, especially to a coffee shop. There's hardcore loyalists, like there's hardcore Starbucks loyalists, just as there's hardcore local coffee shop.
Yes.
I guess travelers or whatever you want to say. Like down here in the art district, there's 3 coffee shops. There's about to be a 4th, and I kind of browse around, but for the most part, I go to Golden Fog because it's right underneath me. But for me, I generally drink black coffee, but to me, it's more important about the environment and the spark. And a lot of times we go down there to plug in your laptop into the wall and then just kind of dive in and zone out, put some headphones in. And that's the evaluation in my own coffee bar metrics. But everyone kind of has different settings and different beliefs to how they want their coffee shop environment to be.
Yeah. It's definitely its own little subculture. I mean, we have people who go to Tiabi that are definitely diehard. During the pandemic shutdown, those people really came through. We have really awesome regulars that only frequent our store, and I mean, it's great. And they've even told me they go out of their way just to go there. One of my regulars, love him to death. His name's Glenn. He's been my regular for probably 7 years now. And he plans his work routines like around coming in, and everyone knows him. A lot of our customers, they're on a first term basis. We'll just call you by your name, and we remember your order. I mean, yeah, it's like Cheers. We're like a Cheers bar for caffeine. I've actually been told by multiple customers that they're just like, it's like your guys are like bartenders. So like we just come in and we're like morning bartenders where we're just like drinking and we're like, hey, so how's the kids? Oh, is today better than yesterday? Like, and just that's what it's about. It's about connecting.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Do you host events at the coffee shop?
Oh yeah, we do. We do different stuff. I recently got asked to do a spoken word event, so that's kind of in the works. And we're doing. We have multiple events, different stuff.
They're generally are they artistic based? Or are they like business oriented?
It's kind of like a little bit of everything. Like sometimes we'll work with different nonprofits, and then we'll do something with UNLV. I've done fundraisers, like promotional fundraisers for high schools. Just different stuff that's going on. For International Waffle Day coming up, we're actually teaming up with a special section of Metro, also involving some canines, which I'm super excited about because I was like, can the canines eat the waffles? Like, please. I want to, So, we're actually doing that. And so I'm excited to do that. But so it's going to be like a waffle eating contest. And for every waffle that they eat during the contest, we're donating a portion of it back to their organization. So we do stuff like that. And
It's creative. That is beautiful. I had a question about the location. I saw that it's located on Maryland Parkway inside the LGBTQ Center.
That's where the Jolt is located.
Oh, Jolt. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about Jolt.
Oh man, the Jolt. We're located in the LGBTQ center downtown. We do so many incredible things there. I love it. I really love it because it's an environment where we can really like experiment and try things. And for someone like me, it's just like all play when I'm there. But we roast our own coffee there. We actually have a really awesome coffee roaster. Totally, you should come check it out. It's a Bellwether coffee roaster. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
I've never heard of that.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Please tell me what this is.
They're about the size of like a refrigerator, okay? And I've been told that they look like a giant iPhone. But what it is there's no vent on top. It's a ventless coffee roaster, so there's zero emissions. What it does is it takes all of the exhaust and steam from the coffee roasting and it converts it back into energy. And we actually saved, I forgot how many hundreds of pounds of CO2 last month, but it showed on the roaster that we actually saved a tree. So I always tell people, I'm like, save the coffee trees. They're all along that like ozone, layer. Mm-hmm. They're close. So, that's one of the things that kind of always bothered me because coffee is amazing and glorious as it is. It actually has negative impact on the environment, starting from, the cultivation all the way to the roasting process. So having a Bellwether roaster was just like amazing for me because I'm like, great, we get to reduce our carbon footprint. I love telling my customers that they're drinking like zero emission coffee. And then my roasters love playing with it. I mean, it's really awesome. So it's great. So we do that there. We at the Jolts, we also do like vegan pastries. And then we're a part of Delivering with Dignity. And
I had Poonam on here.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Kondo.
Yeah, I had her. She was around episode 40, so it was a little bit back.
Oh my gosh.
She was awesome.
Incredible. She's incredible. Everyone who's in the Moonridge Foundation, and then Elizabeth Blau, they've all come together, and they just came together. It's such a moment where I really feel like our Las Vegas community really needed it, and so I'm a part of Delivering with Dignity.
Oh, that's awesome.
We do about 300 meals per day, Monday through Thursday. So I believe our meal count is something a little over 50,000 meals for the community. But I mean, that alone has been like such an inspiring journey, and just amazing during the pandemic because it gave not only, we were servicing the community in a way that was very vulnerable and very needed, but then, it gave my employees hope, because when you're like on shutdown, you're like, my job, what's going to happen? There's a lot of what ifs. Everyone had like, so many what ifs. And it was just amazing to provide that kind of like spirit of hope through my employees and then like out through the food and then the volunteers. It was just like, it was a godsend. Like, I always tell everyone, I wish, not that I wish I, had like time, but like last year was one of the craziest years of my life because we were doing that and then just everything else that goes on with the cafes. So
having to balance everything is quite tough.
Yeah.
So was the inspiration behind Jolt Coffee to have some sort of environmental impact in a positive way?
Yeah, absolutely. The Jolt, we definitely I always wanted to be a part of a community center because I just feel like I wanted to be a part of a community that does something positive and good for our city. And then, they give you the means to do that. So it was great as like a business owner and a coffee owner or a coffee shop owner to kind of be a part of something like that.
To have a similar environment to Tiabi?
Yeah, like just kind of like, community focused, so you're with people who are focused on the same thing, which is the environment around us. So
yeah, that's environmental impact is very important. I just read literally right before this conversation, the NASA, I don't know if it was a NASA CEO, but one of the NASA environmental scientists was saying like we're at the dead end of this carbon emission thing, and like they don't think that we're going to be able to reverse it if we really go hard. The average temperature will raise 1.5 degrees Celsius, which could wipe out like half of the species on Earth, which is insane.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is just, it's just insane. Mm-hmm. It's just insane to think of, that there is no turnaround for us about, in regards to this. So like, I feel you. I've researched a lot of stuff in this area.
It's morbid, but I do have faith in humanity. Humanity's survived for thousands of years, and we always come up with some sort of technology that we aren't even able to predict and have some foresight, and just pops up. And I know there's a lot of different entrepreneurs who are working on carbon capture technologies to reduce that. And same with like gathering plastics in the ocean. And so there's a lot of like positive stuff that's happening out in society. It just kind of gets swept under the rug because the media likes to focus on the 1% of the negative things that are happening out here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just the other day I was talking about, the artificial reefs that they're really constructing and building, and just being able to have, like wildlife adapt in the artificial reefs. Stuff like that gives me definite hope. And like what you're saying, I feel like most people want to do good. So, yeah.
I've noticed a trend with a lot of coffee shops is the majority of the coffee shops are pro environment, and they're like pro communities and pro nonprofits. Why do you think that is?
I think most coffee shop owners really care about community, because that's what it is about. I think our mission statement is to connect our community through the coffee and through the innovative creations. So, that's what, to me, that's what it's really about. Yeah, we sell coffee, we sell great waffles, of course, everything's great. But if we aren't doing our part to connect with our community and create that environment where people can connect, then we're really missing the whole reason why we're here. That's what I always tell my employees. I'm like, the real reason why we're here is to connect the community. It's about creating that environment. So you
probably had that foresight when you first started then, that when you realized there weren't that many coffee shops in the local area, and they are kind of community hotspots for the local neighborhoods, wherever it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're near UNLV, so I tend to get a lot of students, and they're just like, there's nothing around, we need it. I'm like, yeah, totally come. And so I love all the students, and then the professors and everyone, like-minded. I love seeing like the UNLV athletes there. They're all super cool, carbing up.
There's just like this energy that comes with being around a college campus. Like everyone's young, everyone's still trying to figure out where they want to go in life, but there's a lot of positivity that surrounds it. It's not as much like when you get around people who have lived out their lives a little bit more, and they tend to become a little bit more cynical. When you're in college, everyone's just like, yeah, I'm away from home. I'm trying to learn and go on this business endeavor. I'm taking some crazy environmental science degree or something like that. It's amazing to see. That's why I really had a good experience at UNLV. I was there 5.5 years, which is like the typical, it's the typical UNLV college degree. Because most of us worked. I worked like 40 hours a week my entire college experience. Yeah. Just have the same experience.
Yeah, totally. I was like, I worked, and then it was even crazier when I tried to intern, because then I was like interning and working in school. So yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's funny that in the beginning you said that you majored in journalism and didn't go into journalism, because every single UNLV graduate that I've had on here did not apply their degree in a professional manner at all. It's like such a UNLV trend. I know it's a common trend. I know it's like a common trend, but I don't think I've had one UNLV major. Maybe Jaden was the only one who was a computational neuroscientist that actually applied their degree to something professional. I think that speaks about the city. It's like there's a lot of opportunities out here, and also there's the issue with just not as many jobs being available for college graduates. Right. But out in Vegas, there's just so much opportunity that it's a very entrepreneurial driven town, and people oftentimes go seek out what they want out in life, and they try to follow whatever they view as their life purpose, rather than kind of just getting stuck in a dead end job that you hate. Yeah.
Vegas, it definitely has that entrepreneurial spirit. where everyone wants to, I have this idea. I want to do this. I want to go, and then you have your whole cheer squad being like, yeah, do it, get out there. A lot of my staff are students too. And it's just, yeah, I recognize that same spirit in them, and then just wanting to learn, wanting to do different things and just like roam free. So
yeah, sometimes I wish I would have had a coffee job when I was in college, but I did the traditional UNLV college job and I was a lifeguard.
Oh, you were?
For like 5 years. Yeah, for 4 years.
Oh, dang.
It's a perfect college job though. Yeah. You could like roll up hungover because everyone's partying. You're just chilling in the stand with your glasses on, hating life and just watching people.
Oh my God.
And you get to work on we had like a back room at Planet Hollywood where everyone would go back when you're off stand and just like work on your college work. So it's like you actually got to like study and stuff too.
So you would love talking to her, my former business partner, because she managed the bar at the pool, but she also managed all the lifeguards. But she herself used to be a lifeguard. So she would tell me all the crazy lifeguard stories. But then when she started managing them, she'd call me up and she'd be like, they're trying to take naps in like the closet. And they're trying to talk to everybody else and I can't get them to, and I don't know. I just heard so many lifeguard stories and it's funny. It cracks me up.
We used to hide in the towel bins.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So we would we'd fill it because these towel bins, they would be probably, 8 feet high on wheels and they would be stacked with rolls of towels. But once you got about halfway through, you could literally like funnel your way into the bottom and then cover yourself with towels. And we would just be sleeping in there.
Yeah, that's what she would complain about. She's like, they're sleeping in, the towels again. And I don't know. I just thought it was so funny. But this was after college. But I'm like, man, remember when you were a lifeguard? I remember you did half that stuff. Like,
it's really the strip and the pool jobs are just like such a great entry level job for a college student. And I think that's why a lot of UNLV people do it. And also a lot of lifeguards end up becoming managers. Yep. They end up becoming, hosts or even CEOs. When I worked at Planet Hollywood, the CEO of the building started out as a lifeguard.
Oh, whoa. That's cool.
Yeah. That's just like, it speaks to the ethos of Vegas where they want to raise somebody. They want to breed them and groom them and work the way up. Oftentimes you don't see outside hires in many casino level or casinos, I guess, right. or the hospitality industry, because it all comes with like customer service. Yeah.
And I mean, I think it goes to business culture, because when you have somebody who gets the culture and they're willing to stick with it, they obviously know and believe in the spirit of the company, right? So you definitely always want to promote from within. And I feel you.
Do you apply that same philosophy with Jolt and Tiabi?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love promoting from within. We rarely hire outside managers. We have before, and it's turned out good. But, you always want to give that opportunity, especially for your employees that have put in the work, at that level. So.
And are you in there every day, like pouring coffee as well? Or are you kind of just hanging out or rallying up the troops, like Wolf of Wall Street style?
It's like a little bit of everything. It's a little bit because when I'm there, if I see something that needs to get done, I'll try and do it. But then I'm also like instructing. Then I'm trying to talk to the managers, and then I have had my Wolf of Wall Street moments, where I'm just like, come on, guys, let's get it together.
It's like 3 espressos deep.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, give me more water. And then and everyone, they all joke because they know I could be like really intense, and I'm very detailed and I'm very like critical on a lot of things. So sometimes I get a little crazy. Like when I'm training like a new person, I'm just kind of like, are we sure we want me to train them? Because I'm going to be like, this cup of coffee. And then 1 hour later, I'll show you how to do it, because I'm going to talk about this cup of coffee for like a long time. Whereas someone would be like, okay, you just, weigh it out, 86 grams, brew it. This is your blends, and you're done. With me, it's like, it's just because I'm passionate about it. I just want to share so much about it. When you ask me like, what's with the coffee, I'm going to give you like, this is everything, I'm going to give you the full tour, in my brain.
So give us a spiel. Tell us the spiel. Which coffee drink are you most passionate about?
My current passion, let's see. I actually, this past couple weeks, we've just been trying to really knock out our espresso roast. So because we have the Bellwether, it's like we transitioned to like a new roaster, but then our head roaster actually has this idea of having like an omni roast, which is pretty much like the roast above all roasts. And I'm just like, I don't think so, because then we need to have different stuff than so there's this big conflict battle. But then just actually before I came here, we were just like measuring, do we need to adjust like how much pressure we tamp the espresso? Is it falling at like the right grade? Like, do we have enough body? Do we have enough sweetness? And then, so right now I would say my biggest passion is probably just going to be our espresso, because for the past 2 weeks, we've just been giving so much feedback. And then with the feedback, we're using it to create the Omni roast, right? But then eventually we're trying to also do different types of blends. So we're planning for winter when we have our different, like more bolder blends for winter. So that's my thing right now. I'm just been drinking straight espresso, straight up.
Yeah, I can never really get into espresso because I kind of like to just like sip. Like with espressos, it's more like a shot, which is complete opposite. Because when I'm drinking alcohol, it's like I was always just taking shots just to get it over with. But with coffee, I enjoy the taste, even if it is just black. It's like I know I have more happiness left in the cup.
Do you like Americanos?
I like Americanos.
Oh, okay.
Americanos are cool.
This is like a little bit of espresso.
Yeah. Sometimes when I go out, if it's like later in the day and I'm go out with somebody and I'm getting a meal, I'll get like a latte or something special. But in the morning, it's always black to stay in that fasted state.
Oh yeah.
But I do appreciate the other flavors. What I'm not a big fan of in the coffee world is like the crazy frappuccinos and like the very like sugar dense drinks.
Yeah.
It's just like, because I feel like I'm just drinking like a chocolate shake.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, yeah, because the amount of coffee ratio comparative to the sugar in the milk is
And
like
10%. I
10%.
feel like that just gives you like a massive crash later in the day too.
Man, yeah. Oh yeah, I feel you. I know. When you make the drinks in the morning and someone's like loading up like that, I'm like, oh, here you go.
Yeah, 8 a.m.
Have a good day.
100 grams of sugar.
Yeah, have a great start.
have a blessed day, man.
Yeah.
I think the only time I really drank like sugary drinks was when I'm like really low on energy, and most of that time it's like usually if I'm like out at like a music festival or I'm out and about and it's like day 3 of a music festival and I've like 6 hours of sleep between the 2 days. I'm like,
give it to me.
Just give me sugar. I need to survive this last day.
Right. Yeah. At that point, I'm probably going to go to energy drinks. Like just give me like the double dose of whatever you got going on. Something that I recommend too is we have a drink called Chagachino. And what it is have you ever heard of chaga?
The mushroom, correct?
The mushroom, right? Yes. Yeah. So we have an awesome drink. It's a chagachino, so it has like ground mushroom, vanilla, Madagascar vanilla, monk fruit sugar, and the chaga. I think that's it. And with that drink, we usually serve it with a latte, but because you have the chaga in there, chaga is like a huge antioxidant. It's like, I don't know, like 30 times more antioxidant than like acai berries and all that stuff. But when I drink a chagachino, I know I don't ever get the crash, but I get that sweetness minus all the sugar. But then it tastes like it has sugar, but then you're just having monk fruit and like raw cocoa.
That I'm in for.
Yeah.
I enjoy the mushroom experimentation because some of the mushrooms have like nootropic effects in the brain, which have you heard of Four Sigmatic? They're like the mushroom coffee company.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I haven't tried their product yet, but I've heard of them.
They use chaga and I forget. There's like 4 different lion's mane. Mm-hmm. There's 2 other ones, and I used to like the lion's mane one because it made me feel. I mean, coffee already gives you like clarity.
Yeah.
But having lion's mane, it kind of improved my memory, and I felt also like it lasted a little bit longer.
Oh, okay.
It's cool to see the kind of different experimentations with like these natural I don't know, what is mushroom, a vegetable? Fungi. It's its own thing. But you can experiment with all these different ingredients in coffee. I used to, a few years ago, I used to put CBD in my coffee in the morning, which was cool.
Me too.
Yeah. It was great. It was like an extra little layer on top of it, but it reduced anxiety levels. So you feel like, and it's funny because for some people, coffee like increases anxiety. So it's almost like a fine balance.
I feel you. I used to do the CBD tinctures all the time, and I'd put them in like my hydro flask. I had like a mint one. I had it, but yeah, I feel you. Like adding different stuff to the coffee. CBD. I've done the chaga. I've done, like different types of protein. I've done like the collagen stuff.
Bulletproof coffee.
Yeah, bulletproof.
I was a big bulletproof person for a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
Put like fucking stick of butter in it.
Oh, yeah.
With MCT oil. That I felt like lasted the longest. It's just sometimes if you put too much MCT oil, it can really upset your stomach.
Yeah, it's like you feel it. It's just coating like the linings of your stomach and you just feel all nauseous. Yeah, I get you. Because we actually, we were all addicted to that. So we had a big thing of it in the back of the house. And we're like, did you get your bulletproof? And we're just like making sure everyone got their bulletproof for the day. What's that? Yeah, the only thing I've never had is probably like marijuana coffee. Not yet.
Do they have that?
I know they're trying to. I know Planet 13 has a coffee shop in there. So they're planning on doing something like that.
Sounds interesting. Pretty good mix. I haven't smoked in some years now, but that would have a huge market. Just anything that's THC infused is a hot commodity.
Seriously, THC everything. Me and my family, we always talk about it. We're just my dad wants to buy, because we have some land back home because I'm from Guam, and so he's always plotting like, this is where I'm gonna grow my whole farm of marijuana. And I'm like, do it, Dad. You better have some when guarding that thing. Like you're just gonna have people wanting. I'd be like, hey man, can I get close or pull a branch, pull a plant? Who knows? Yeah.
Where do you guys get your beans from? Is it from in America, or do you import it from somewhere else?
We import it from a couple of different farms, but we go through some major importers. We get our beans are from Guatemala. We have some from Brazil. I think we have Colombia. Yeah, Colombian Huila. Tanzania and Rwandan are like two of my favorite origins right now. They're just, all of their beans are so sweet, so fruity. And then Ethiopian, we have a couple different types of Ethiopian, and then Honduran coffee. And we also have some really good aged Sumatra, which is very potent.
What is that?
So it's pretty much the Sumatra. It gets washed and then aged in like burlap sacks. And then so when we get it almost, because coffee, instead of it being green, it's more of like a light tan color. But when you roast it, it's so strong. It's like just like in your face. If you're a black coffee drinker, when you drink it, you're just like, oh,
sign me up.
Different. Yeah. Definitely got to try some. If you come by the Jolt, I'll just do a pour over and you could try some of it, because we have it in like different stages over there.
So I need to try that. I need to try the chaga.
Yeah.
There's a few. So Jolt is on Maryland Parkway. Where is Tiabi located?
Tiabi's also on Maryland Parkway, except it's on Maryland Parkway in Flamingo.
Okay.
Yeah, right near UNLV in the Target Shopping Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a few different restaurants in there. There's like some crypto cafe.
Oh my gosh, yeah. that was wild. I was like, what is this? This is totally like a front face for like someone's black market.
Did you ever get to go in there?
Yeah. I went there. I talked to like the staff, and then I thought it was super cool because they had that little room where you can trade and take money in and out. But yeah, that's over there. But now they closed down. Now it's a all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue, I think.
Oh my God, that's my favorite.
Yeah,
really? I'm a big Korean barbecue person.
What's your favorite Korean barbecue place?
Master Kim's.
Really?
Yes. Have you ever been?
Yeah, I love Master Kim's.
They just opened one at Town Square a few months ago. And I've gone there a handful of times already.
Nice.
Are you a big foodie?
I would say I am a foodie. I'm probably like an undercover foodie. I don't like post it all the time and whatever, but I'm like undercover.
I'm sure you get probably a lot of restaurant owners who come into the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And come and hang out.
Absolutely. Definitely the ones in our center. I see them all the time, have all their phone numbers, and we all chit chat it up. So talk shop.
Outside of the coffee realm, do you do anything else in Vegas in your free time? I know I mentioned freelance photography. Do you still dabble in that?
I do. Like now I do it more for my enjoyment. I used to do weddings. The last wedding I did was last July, so it's been a little bit. But I do still enjoy doing different types of photography. I also have another side project that I'm working on. It's called Kondo. And what it is, it's katsu bento or katsu sandos, but we also do katsu bentos.
Oh, what is that?
It's have you ever had a katsu? Like a Japanese katsu?
That's like the chicken that's like fried kind of?
Yes. So what we do is we do like a pork katsu, and like sando style is where they take it and they cut it into 3, and then it's lined up. I could show you. It's on my Instagram, but like it's lined up, and then we have like different Japanese sides that go with it. And we're actually going to be at Vegas Test Kitchen on
I just had Jolene on here.
Oh, no way.
Literally last week.
I love Jolene. I just saw her on Sunday. Yeah. She's so awesome. We actually didn't realize that we knew each other from like other events before. And then when I was at Test Kitchen, she was like, we know each other. I'm like, oh my God, I worked with you like 7 years ago. That's so crazy. That's one thing I love about Vegas. It's like, once you start like in the industry, it's like we all eventually know each other.
I always say everyone's 2 degrees of separation away in the city. It's unlike the traditional used to be 6 degrees of separation, but now it's just like, oh, you know this person? Like, oh, he was my neighbor. Yeah, he was my 3rd grade teacher.
Yeah. So like so I know Jolene, but we're actually going to be at Vegas Test Kitchen, and Kondo was actually a product of the recession because I also am a part of I've actually had, I think 4 now. I've had 4 UNLV hospitality interns, but my first intern, his name was Kevin, and Kevin is so like awesome. And he worked at like Sparrow and Wolf, Momofuku, under a lot of different chefs in town. And during the pandemic, we were just like, gosh, what are we doing? Like, restaurants are closed. And so we just started to create he's just like, well, I've done katsu sandos before. So then we just kind of started to talk about it, and, he'd bring one to Tiabi, and then we're like, oh, let's do this, let's do this, just the idea evolved. And then, we're like, okay, so let's give it a go. So we started to do pop-ups at the Jolt, actually. And so you can always pick up Kondo on Fridays at the Jolt, but then now we're doing more Vegas Test Kitchen stuff. And then we're just going to see where this takes us,
It's a perfect fit with the Test Kitchen. It's such a cool concept. It's like I call it a chef incubator.
Oh, yeah. And the energy's amazing because when you go there, it's like, you have all these chefs under one roof. It's just such like a synergy of energy. Mm-hmm. So great.
It is. Yeah. 7 different chefs. For those who didn't listen, the episode with Jolene's like 4 episodes before this. But yeah, it's just a concept of 7 chefs under one roof. And every day there's maybe 2 or 3 chefs that are cooking certain periods of time. Mm-hmm. And the menu is on your phone, so you don't have to deal with like a host or the wait staff or anything like that. Yeah. Are you going to be in there cooking?
Coming up, yeah. I'll be cooking with Kevin or helping Kevin cook. Kevin is like his own work of art.
So this is why you're like an undercover foodie.
Yeah, I would say.
Are you testing it out in hopes to maybe create a restaurant?
Yeah, that's actually our goal is to eventually have a Kondo brick and mortar. So that's definitely the goal that we have for sure.
Do you have a potential location or area of town that you'd like to do this?
No, not yet. We haven't honed in. I personally think Kondo would be amazing either in this area, like downtown, or maybe in Chinatown area. I think it'd be really awesome, or even more. It could be awesome anywhere. It's a great concept.
There's so many blooming areas in the city that are kind of undercover. The arts districts, I think, finally starting to gain some popularity. Like Thursday through Sunday, this place is packed. Like,
Yeah.
cars. It's insane. I didn't know that it was this busy until I moved down here. And I was like, why had this always been like the best kept secret?
Right?
And also with Chinatown, it's also really popular as well. There's a lot of popular bars down there and restaurants and things that are just like tucked away where you're like, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah, so many like cool concepts are coming up. I mean, there's always something to do. And I had the same experience you had with the arts district, because I used to frequent here all the time, like 10, 12 years ago, when First Friday first started coming up. And I recently came down here for brunch, and I met some people at I think Craft House, we got a beer.
Yes.
But then lately, I've been coming here for the beer scene because I love breweries. So, I've been going to Able Baker, and then the new one that popped up.
There's Nevada Brew Works and Huddle.
Yeah, and Huddle.
They both share the same patio.
Yeah, the same area. So we went there, but just every time I've come, I'm like, wow, there's like so many people here. It's awesome.
It is.
So great.
They've opened up about 4 new restaurants in the past few months down here. Good Pie,
Awesome.
Main Street Provisions. They have the 2 bars. There's like a barbecue place that's opening up too.
Awesome.
Yeah, maybe you should find your home down here.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of been asked about like different spaces down here, but I definitely want to revisit that for sure.
well, when are you cooking up at Test Kitchen? I'm gonna have to come by.
Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday.
And you're gonna continually practice there?
Hopefully, when I talked to Jolene, we talked about being there for a couple more Sundays, and then just getting into it. So
okay, well, by the time I release this, I'll definitely tag you everything in the bottom for you guys to go there, because Test Kitchen's dope. This area is dope. Mm-hmm. In terms of, I guess, Vegas, where do you see the city going now that we're kind of coming out of this COVID pandemic? It's literally today, time of this recording, has been a year.
Wow.
Since, they closed the strip the 17th, but we're on the 10th. And this is when the first business closed because of COVID, was a year today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Can't believe it. I would say, now that things are opening back up, I believe we will recover, and I think Vegas will recover pretty well. There was a lot of good things that we did to really stimulate and help the economy at that time. I think Vegas is definitely going to, hopefully, I just hope we attract more companies here that are like tech companies.
Yes.
Kind of like how we have Amazon over here. We have like the Google hub in like that whole St. Rose area. And then, we have the Raiders. I really would love Vegas to have more tech companies like that, to just kind of diversify our economy a little bit. But we're just growing so rapidly. Who knows? Who knows?
That's a message I've been trying to portray, is that the Vegas has been trying to build bridges off of tourist dependency for so long. I feel like now this is finally the time. The reason why the housing inventory is so low is because all of the remote workers who have moved out here. That's what a lot of the real estate owners that have been on the show have told me. So those remote workers who work probably in the tech field are going to want to do something in their free time. So I think they'll probably build more tech companies or do something interesting with that. So it's really cool to see. And there's a lot of different industries have moved out to Vegas from the pandemic, fleeing mostly California, also because there's no state taxes out here. So there's a lot of benefits. Vegas, I'm just really bullish on.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard from somebody, I didn't know this was around, but I heard there was like a Levi's factory somewhere here.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because somebody said, oh, my dad's working at the Levi's factory. And I'm like, what factory? Like, they said it's near Google. I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. Right on. More industry. I love that.
We're diversifying slowly. Something that I've seen too is there's been a lot of interest from the tourists in the downtown area rather than the strip.
Yeah.
The strip's been kind of like corporatized, and I think the nickel and diming of the customers between resort fees and parking fees and all of these other miscellaneous fees is really pushing people to downtown, and they've done a good job of like diversifying the attractions down in that area. Do you ever go downtown?
All the time, all day, every day. I'm always there. I should live there. I tried to buy a house here, but then I ended up buying a house in Summerlin. But because of where we're located on Maryland and Flamingo, and even where the Jolt is on like Maryland and Clark, we get a ton of tourists, and they're like, "What do we do?" And we always direct them to like local spots, just like local places for them to check out and just enjoy.
The local community here is it's such a warm community. Everyone just wants to refer everyone together. There's a few different like local kind of networking groups I've been a part of, and that's like the same mission between every single Vegas networking group that I've ever been a part of. Is like, how do we help each other push customers to each other and swap, but also like push Vegas forward as well as a community, because we're kind of in like this infancy of Vegas culture, because for a long time it was kind of just viewed as the Strip being just the Strip.
Right.
Like I used to get asked all the time when I was working on the Strip of what hotel room I lived in. I was even asked if I helicoptered in every day.
I totally had that experience. I'll never forget. I was cashiering at the Wynn because I used to work at the Wynn, and this guy asked like, "So do they house you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I told him, I was like, "No, they don't house us. We live off the Strip." And then it just kind of came out. I was like, "Hey, do you remember when you flew over? Do you remember all those houses? We all live in those houses. Like, those are where people live." Like, I didn't say it like, "Hey, we don't live here," but I was kind of like, "Do you remember seeing houses? Yeah, man, we live right over there. We don't get housed here, by Steve Wynn." So
I think the Raiders moving here was kind of like a landmark for the Vegas community to show like we are a city. Like, if we deserve an NFL team, like there's something going on in this city that's much larger than just the Strip, to think that we can fill that stadium, which I know they're going to. We didn't get to, but the Golden Knights are sold out every game.
Yeah, and a lot of them are locals. I know tons of locals that like are, they're like, "I got my Knights tickets," like just repping it hard. We deserve it. We do. We're an awesome city, and one thing that I really think was great that came from the pandemic is I feel like people are even more focused now to supporting that like local business aspect. It's so huge now. Like, ask yourself, like, can I get this locally? Can I get this, from that small business over there? So that support has really come out during this whole pandemic. So
I have seen a lot of social media posts pitching order delivery from that small business itself and not through Uber Eats, because they take 30%, which is insane. It's just like, it takes away the company's profit margin.
Absolutely. Like, it's a lot. I always encourage people to, and plus, like, when you go through a third party, you have to deal with that third party. So like, sometimes when the food leaves the restaurant or the coffee leaves the restaurant, and the Uber driver like loses it or something, or you have to deal with that, and we can't do anything. So I definitely encourage that. Because they take a huge chunk.
Did Jolt and Tiabi have food delivery services implemented prior to the pandemic?
Oh, we did actually.
So you're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, we did. So we kind of just not barked. I don't know why I said barked, but we kind of just continue to push systems that were already in place. But something that did help was it helped me really redesign and focus my website for both businesses on ordering from us. Since a lot of people were still doing curbside, I was like, well, why do curbside through Postmates, and so I made me kind of create my website to be more like curbside friendly, and to redirect all of our customers to our website, so that way we can avoid those like third-party fees. So that's kind of how we went around that.
Innovation. Ahead of the curve. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So I have one final question for you before we get out of here. I ask this question to everybody, and it is, what does Las Vegas mean to you?
Las Vegas to me means a chance. Because I feel like a lot of people come here not knowing what to do, where to go from here, and I see it all the time because the area on Maryland and Flamingo, I don't know why, but people who move here from other cities, they end up over there. I think it's because it's just familiar. It's near the airport, it's near the Strip, so it's like your familiar area, highly populated, highly dense, right? So a lot of people actually end up at Tiabi because they are like, oh, I just moved into like the tower next door for 6 months. And I'm like, well, why'd you move to Vegas? And they're like, I just wanted to start over, or it was a job opportunity, or, I want to get into this scene that Vegas offers. I want to, or I love vacationing here and I love meeting locals and I just want to move here. Or where I came from was too expensive. And now, this is more of like something I can afford things now for my family. So like, I feel like a lot of people find themselves here, if not born and raised here, which is also awesome. I love meeting people who are born and raised here.
That's right here.
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're unicorns. We're unicorns. We're around.
Yeah.
We're kind of hidden, but we're here.
I love it. I love hearing people who are born and raised here because you see the city evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where compared to somebody else coming in just thinking, oh, this is Vegas the way it always was. No, it grows like every other city, right? But I feel like for a lot of people, it's a chance because it's, you can come to Vegas and take risks, and you can take risks on yourself, and you can take risks in the community around you, and you'll find, like what we were talking about earlier, that people will embrace it. So it's a chance to kind of reinvent, redefine, or just see what you can do with yourself. And also, it's just opportunity. It's chance and opportunity, and you meet so many people in this city because of how many people come to this city. And that's actually one of the best reasons why I love being a coffee shop owner, is that connection. And when I travel outside of Vegas, I meet people, who, have you ever been like internationally? It's like, where are you from? I'm like, Vegas. They're like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my God, Vegas. And I'm like, yeah. So it's just really cool to be a part of a city with, that's like this, and to also represent, an actual community.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Where do I send all of the listeners and viewers to learn more about you, follow you, Jolt Coffee, Tiabi, etc.?
So follow us at I Want Tiabi, and that's our Instagram handle. Definitely follow us on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. You can check out our website. It's www.iwanttiabi.com. If you'd like to check out the Jolt, we're the Jolt Coffee Co. .com, and also on Instagram, the Jolt Coffee Co. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can, and say hi. A lot of my regulars do actually, and they'll be like, I'm trying coffee here, I'm in Portland, and they'll send me their photos. And I'm Insta-Tiffygram is my current name. I've been trying to change that name.
Insta-Tiffygram?
Yeah, that's Tiffany from like 10 years ago. I've been trying to come up with a new name. Nothing's really sticking, and I keep on going back to Insta-Tiffygram. I've been trying to change it for almost 6 months now, and I'm like, it's just whatever,
Was that your AOL screen name from back in the day?
Oh, yeah, something like that. I always put Tiffy in everything. So like even my Snapchat account, when I was really into that, it was Snap, it's Taff, and then everything had like a Tiff in it. So yeah, currently Insta-Tiffygram. If you think of a better name, let me know.
Send her a DM.
Yeah, I'm open.
Make sure you guys give her a follow, subscribe, get some coffee. I'll definitely be out there soon. Tiffany,
Cool.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoyed your presence, very bright personality,
Thank you.
Actually a full-bred entrepreneur on to their next endeavor. So appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you next time.